North Carolina, swing state in 2008. You know the story. Obama won in an upset victory then, a swing state today in 2012. Take a look at the numbers. These are the latest polls here out of North Carolina have Mitt Romney polling ahead of President Obama. The state's 15 electoral votes are just as crucial this year, of course, as they were in 2008. I want to bring in Jay Thomas, actor and host of Sirius Radio show, The Jay Thomas Show, who knows Charlotte so well. You've been there for 30 years. Also, Jay, full disclosure, you are an Obama supporter. And I've read that
Yes.
you liken this presidency to to a marriage, which began with all the pomp and circumstances. That's the wedding, aka the election day. Voters were so emotionally invested in hope and change. Fast forward 4 years, honeymoon's over. Is that emotional investment still there? Enough for him?
I really think that he's done everything he can do, and I don't think anyone else would have done anything differently. But it is truly the honeymoon period is over. I'd like him to still be the president, mainly because I don't think we should change horses in the middle of this. But I really worry, and even here in Charlotte, I worry about it. I wonder if his original core that was so excited are going to really vote for him and get out there and work for him. They're not going to vote for Romney, but are they really going to continue voting for him and letting him continue the agenda? You really have a choice here. Either you want the very, very, very conservative, white guys over here, or you want sort of the people that are more interested in what I think the country's going to look like in the future. And so I look at it as a clear choice. And I still like what Obama's doing and going to do in the future. I like him. So,
no, of course, you like him. I know a lot of people like him. But, the Romney folks, and having been in Tampa and hearing from them, it's sort of like they're, talking to these people who voted for Barack Obama, especially those swing voters, so important. And they're saying, hey, we recognize what you did. We recognize that you were swept up in this allure of this, this man. But you know what? 4 years later, just about, it's time for a change.
Well, the Wall Street Journal had this. In the 20th and the 21st centuries, Republican presidents outspent government funding by 8 to 10% over any Democratic president. George Bush quadrupled the education funding. So they really have no history of this cutting, right? And this austerity that they talk about. If I was on welfare, if I had Social Security, if I was getting Medicare, if I was getting anything from the government, if this guy, Paul Ryan's plan comes in, there are going to be a lot of people hurting. And I really don't think the United States, I don't think people want to hurt as badly as it's going to take to put their plan into action. That's what I think. I always like the guy that has the printing press that makes the money. I like that guy. I think that ought to just. So,
well, let's talk about your guy. Let me talk about your guy, because Charlotte. Back in 2008, that the then senator. His campaign officials have been pretty quick to point out that his convention speech in Denver, who could forget that night, right? It sold out, boom, in 24 hours. We are 4 days out from the president's big speech, and he's got this 74,000 seater stadium, and they have no indication they're going to be able to fill it up. What does that tell you?
It ought to be bobblehead night. They need to give something away, first of all.
Is that really what he's going to have to do?
I
mean, all seriousness, Jay Thomas, bobbleheads?
Well, they were accusing CNN of standing in empty seats. Not the unnamed network was accusing you of making it look like Romney didn't have people at his convention. I think no matter how many people show up here at the stadium, I don't think anybody will be talking about that within 3 days. How about if we take these Occupy people and just let them occupy the empty seats? I also live in Hollywood. I live in Hollywood.
Yeah.
CGI is there for a reason. God gave us CGI for a reason.
Oh, my goodness. Let's not hope. No CGI for either convention. Sure. But I want to ask you about this hot topic, Jay. The hot topics on the trail.
Now, the cameramen are all nodding yes.
They're all saying yes, yes, yes.
Nodding yes.
Those cameramen.
Yeah, sure.
Let me ask you about this question. It was Ronald Reagan who made it quite famous, used it very effectively at the time. The question being, are you better off than 4 years ago? It's kind of hard in some respects for President Obama really to make that argument when you look at the unemployment rate, and it's still extraordinarily high. The economy's still running on fumes, Jay.
You know what? I really don't think that Obama has put the facts up. I mean, if you really look at and I'd have blackboards and pointers everywhere. George Bush, I think they lost 3.3 million jobs. He really has put 3.4 million people back to work, but that's barely a % of our population. So I don't think you really feel it. I also think the regulations against the so-called bad guys that got us into this, they haven't even taken effect yet. So I really believe it go back to the honeymoon thing.
Yeah.
I think you're 4 years in. I don't know if you're married or not, but 4 years in, you know, people start to smell differently and look differently and act differently, but you still love them. You still want to stay with them. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be away from them. You still love them, but, you know, it's not as exciting as in the beginning. This is really hard work, and I'd like it to continue until the end of his term. And I also think that Mitt Romney is a nice guy, and I like that they said that Barack Obama is a good man, but not a good president. I like that that is starting to be said in the campaign also.
How do you think that romance is going to go right there where you're sitting in North Carolina come November 6th?
I don't think Obama carries North Carolina.
Why?
I think he carries Charlotte. Well, I think that, you know, this is still the South. I think they would rather dislike him than like him. I also think you have a problem even with conservative black churches. You have many people that are against abortion and against gay marriage. I think the future of this country is gay marriage and choice. But right now, there are people that are selling something for right now. The future looks more like Barack Obama's administration than Mitt Romney's administration. I absolutely believe the 21st and 22nd century of the United States is not going to be two square white guys. I just believe that with all my heart.
Who are you most excited about?
That's why I have such a...
Who are you most excited about hearing speak this week?
I can't wait. I want to hear Obama speak, and I hope that Biden brings a chair up on stage and pretends he's talking to Clint Eastwood. That's all I hope.